Full Contact Podcast, buckle up, you heard, like, follow, and share. Lycoming, you heard, we dare. Pulses of the port and why do people leave? Crank up the truth with Beth and Steve.
Welcome back to Lycoming, ya heard. I'm Steve Marshall.
And I'm Beth Fulmer.
Okay, so let's dive into a story. It's a story that's unfolding right here in Lycoming County. A story about second chances, about the power of faith, and about one woman making a real difference, in a place you might not expect, the county prison. We've got some compelling sources lined up for you today, some local news from FAFO Media, some information about the United Churches of Lycoming County, and some insights into the work of a national organization called Prison Fellowship. If you're a Lycoming County resident, this deep dive is particularly, relevant for you, I guess. So let's get started.
Okay.
Have you heard of Chaplain Tammey Edkin?
I have, yes.
Well, she recently received a pretty impressive award, the Outstanding Chaplain Award from Prison Fellowship. And get this, the nominations came directly from the inmates at the Lycoming County Prison.
Wow.
It makes you wonder, what is she doing that's having such a profound impact?
That's a great question, and it's especially interesting given the context of Prison Fellowship itself.
Yeah, fill us in. What is Prison Fellowship all about?
Well, Prison Fellowship is this pretty big national organization. They are dedicated to something called restorative justice. Have you heard of that?
I think so. It rings a bell.
Well, it focuses on helping prisoners successfully re-enter society. It's about going beyond punishment and really focusing on rehabilitation, offering those second chances and support,
Yeah, that makes sense. And that kind of reminds me of something I read in one of our sources for today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the FAFO Media article mentions a pretty telling anecdote. Apparently, on Superbowl Sunday, 10 inmates chose to attend Chaplain Edkin's grief support group instead of watching the game. I mean, talk about dedication.
Wow, that's powerful. That really suggests that her programs are addressing a deep need within the prison population.
Yeah, I think so too.
And it actually ties into a larger issue that FAFO Media highlights, the mental health crisis within the prison system.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
The article states that over 40% of inmates in Lycoming County Prison are on psychotropic medications. That's a significant increase just from last year.
40%. Wow, that's a staggering statistic.
It is. It really makes you think about the level of need within those walls and whether there are even adequate mental health resources and support systems in place.
Right. Now, Chaplain Edkin's work isn't limited to the prison itself. She's also deeply involved with the United Churches of Lycoming County, UCLC.
I've heard of them.
Their commission, according to their website, is all about connecting faith with service. And they have a pretty broad reach across the county, from nursing homes to food pantries and, of course, the prison.
That's interesting. So are you saying there's a connection between those organizations?
Well, UCLC emphasizes values like caring for your neighbors, welcoming strangers, and visiting those who are imprisoned. Those values actually align very closely with the core mission of Prison Fellowship, helping those impacted by crime and incarceration.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So in a way, Chaplain Edkin is like a living embodiment of that shared mission.
Yeah, exactly. Bridging the gap between faith and action in a very tangible way.
Okay, so let's delve a little deeper into what Chaplain Edkin actually does within the prison. Both the FAFO Media article and Prison Fellowship's website mention her leading Bible study groups, holding communion services, and even conducting baptisms. Pretty remarkable to picture those activities happening within a prison environment.
It really challenges our preconceived notions of what's even possible in a place like that, doesn't it?
Totally. And there's this powerful anecdote in one of the articles about rival gang members coming together in prayer and support through Chaplain Edkin's ministry.
That's significant. It suggests that these faith-based programs can tap into a deep human need, for connection, for purpose, potentially even disrupting these established power dynamics within the prison.
It really highlights the transformative power of faith, right? Especially in a challenging environment like that.
And it's not just about heartwarming stories either. These activities actually connect directly back to the core goals of Prison Fellowship's justice reform efforts. They believe that creating a constructive prison culture, giving inmates access to religious services, and building connections with local faith communities are all vital for reducing recidivism.
Recidivism, that's the likelihood of someone ending up back in prison, right?
Exactly.
So it's about breaking that cycle, giving people a genuine chance as a new beginning.
Precisely. And it seems Chaplain Edkin is playing a key role in making that happen right here in Lycoming County.
It makes you wonder, what ripple effects this kind of work might have, like beyond the prison walls.
That's a great point. It's not just about helping individuals. It's about strengthening the entire community.
And speaking of community impact, UCLC's work extends far beyond just the prison ministry. Their website mentions that they provide nearly 900 worship services to nursing homes and prisons every year. That's a significant commitment to serving those who are often overlooked.
It really speaks to a broader mission of inclusivity and compassion, reaching out to those on the margins of society. They seem to be putting their belief in the broader mandate of Jesus into action, which includes caring for the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, and yes, even the imprisoned.
Wow, it's amazing to think about the sheer number of people they touch through these services.
And let's not forget the power of collaboration. Chaplain Edkin was also involved in organizing a meal and a message event at Sojourner Truth Ministries as part of Dream Week, according to an article from Step Inc. It was a whole week dedicated to honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through service and community engagement.
Oh, that's right. It's inspiring to see how her work extends naturally from the prison into the wider community, weaving together faith service and social justice in a way that creates a real impact.
Yeah, it highlights how positive change often happens through partnerships and collective effort. It's not just about one person or one organization. It's about a community coming together to make a difference.
Now, I'm curious about your take on this whole idea of justice reform that Prison Fellowship champions. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's a multifaceted approach. It involves advocating for changes in law and policies, promoting rehabilitation programs within prisons, and fostering a supportive environment for former inmates who are trying to re-enter society. Essentially, it addresses the systemic issues while also empowering individuals to make positive changes.
So it's not about simply punishing people, it's about helping them become productive members of society.
Precisely, Prison Fellowship believes in a restorative approach to justice that emphasizes accountability, healing, and reconciliation. They see faith as a powerful tool for transformation and redemption.
I really like that. Accountability and healing. It acknowledges the harm done, but also recognizes the potential for growth and change.
And this idea of second chances seems to be at the heart of everything Chaplain Edkin does, both within the prison and in the community.
Yeah, she's not just preaching about forgiveness or redemption. She's embodying those values in her actions.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting to think about what would happen if more people embraced this kind of compassionate approach to justice.
What if, as a society, we focused more on rehabilitation and restoration rather than just punishment? It's a hopeful thought, isn't it?
It is, and it's not just a pipe dream. Prison Fellowship has a track record of advocating for successful justice reforms at both the state and federal level. They've been instrumental in passing legislation like the Second Chance Act and the First Step Act, which aim to reduce recidivism and create more opportunities for former inmates.
Wow, so they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. They're really making a difference on a national scale.
They are, and they're not doing it alone. They have a vast network of volunteers, donors, and advocates who believe in their mission.
And that's where the listener comes in, right? We can all be a part of this movement for change.
Exactly. Whether it's donating to Prison Fellowship, volunteering in our communities, or simply advocating for more just and compassionate policies, we all have a role to play.
It's a good reminder that even small actions can have a big impact. Think about those 10 inmates who chose Chaplain Edkin's grief support group over the Super Bowl. That one choice speaks volumes about the power of connection and support.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful changes happen on a personal level, one interaction at a time.
And as we wrap up our deep dive, let's not forget about the incredible investigative journalism of FAFO Media. If you're interested in learning more about important local issues, check out their Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Follow and find out, as they say.
Exactly. Their work is essential for keeping our community informed and engaged. It's incredible how one person like Chaplain Edkin can touch so many lives in such a meaningful way.
It is, yeah. It really speaks to the power of individual action, especially when it's guided by compassion and a strong sense of purpose.
And speaking of impact, I keep coming back to that statistic from the FAFO Media article, the one about over 40% of inmates in Lycoming County Prison being on psychotropic medications. That's a stark reminder of the mental health challenges within the prison system.
It definitely is, and it raises some important questions. I mean, are these medications even effectively addressing the underlying issues? Or are they just managing symptoms in an environment that itself might be detrimental to mental health? It's complex, no easy answers.
It really makes you think about the long-term effects of incarceration. on a person's mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely, and that's where organizations like Prison Fellowship and UCLC come in. I mean, they can play a crucial role by offering that spiritual guidance, emotional support, and practical resources. They can help inmates navigate those challenges of prison life and hopefully equip them for, successful reentry into society.
It strikes me that Chaplain Edkin's approach is about her unwavering belief in the inherent worth of each individual, even those who have made mistakes.
Right, and that's so important. It's easy to judge and distance ourselves from people who have been incarcerated, but Chaplain Edkin reminds us that everyone deserves compassion and support. Everyone has the capacity for change. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Her story is truly inspiring. I'm wondering, are there any lessons we can learn from her work and apply to our own lives, even if we aren't directly involved in the justice system?
Oh, absolutely. A key takeaway for me is the power of empathy. The Chaplain Edkin sees the humanity in everyone. Regardless of their past, she recognizes that people's lives are complicated and that circumstances, well, they can lead people down different paths. It's a reminder that we should approach others with understanding and a willingness to listen.
Powerful. And it ties into that idea of restorative justice, the one that Prison Fellowship champions, focusing on healing and reconciliation, not just punishment.
Exactly. Recognizing the harm, but also acknowledging the potential for growth and change, creating a system that supports both accountability and rehabilitation.
Chaplain Edkin's story also highlights, I think, the importance of action. It's not enough to just talk about compassion and justice. We need to actually put our beliefs into action, just like she does.
And that can look like many things. It might be volunteering, donating, or advocating for policies that promote a more just and equitable society. Even small actions can create ripple effects, contribute to positive change.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember the incredible work being done right here in Lycoming County. Individuals like Chaplain Edkin, along with organizations like UCLC and Prison Fellowship, are making a real difference in the lives of those impacted by the justice system, creating a ripple effect that extends throughout our community.
A powerful reminder that even in a system as complex as the justice system, individuals can create positive change through compassion, faith, and a commitment to action.
Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey. We hope this deep dive has inspired you to think about the role we all play in creating a more just and compassionate world.
The shore has no snooky, that's the word. And Missy Lane's sugar cookies slap, you heard. Like, follow, and share. Lycoming, you heard, we dare. Pulses up the port, and why do people leave? Crank up the truth with Beth and Steve.